Welcome back after the Easter break, and the strangest Easter break I think I can ever remember. I think we went out once for provisions and the rest of the time we spent gardening or decorating around the house. Anyway, back to this now. So what I'm going to use, that's a steamer tool, which is basically very flexible steel with holes drilled in each end. And this is the smallest cane that we make, 1.6mm. It's like working with cotton. So that's going to do at least the first 4 stages of the weaving, if not all 6. So I better get on with it. So I'm rolling it up like this so that I can drop it into some water, because it needs to be soaked for a little while before I use it. That makes it a little bit more flexible, and it also means that I can leave a bit of pliability in it, and as it dries it will dry tighter. So now I've marked up the 2 centre holes on the front and the back rails, so I can start the weaving from there. So I'm going to take my cane, I'm going to thread it up through that hole there, shiny side up, and then I'm going to peg it off in that hole there, the corresponding hole on the back rail, and then I'm going to hold it with that peg. Then I'm going to put a very small amount of tension on that, not a lot, and then I'm going to get to the end of this cane like that, and then I'm going to put it up the next hole along there, make a nice loop underneath, nice and flat like that, make sure the glossy side is up, and then I'll peg it off there. Then I'll go down the next hole on the back rail like that, and it's basically rinse and repeat. Move the peg along like that. So I've just come to the end of that length of cane, so I've got to leave that plug in the back there now to hold this loose end in place, and now I shall start with a new piece. So just as before, I shall peg it off at the back here, like so. And then right at the end, these loose ends will get woven in probably by the diagonals, and if not, they'll be plugged anyway with some plugging cane. So I now need another working peg like that, and I can carry on. Now, this is the case with most chairs. You see, I have 2 holes left on the front rail, but all of the holes at the back rail are now full. That's because it's trapezoidal, it's wider at the front than the back. So how we get round this last piece of cane here, I must keep it parallel to the rest of these, so I decide which hole along this rail here will keep it parallel, and I reckon, no, it's further up than that. I think that's about as close as it's going to get, so I'll peg it off in that one. And I need to put one more, possibly. No, I think that's it. That'll be fine, because that corner hole there will have the 2 diagonals woven into it when we come towards the end. So that's the first stage done. You can see I've worked out from the middle to both side rails. So the next stage is to do exactly the same thing again, except I'm going to lay each of the strands just alongside these. And this time I'm going to start with a cane at the front, being pegged off at the front rather than at the back. So like this, I'll be coming up this hole and pegging it off on the front rail like that, and I'm laying it to one side of that first strand, and this is where these strands start to get trapped by the loops of this second set of vertical canes. Like that. And you see, as this is pulled up underneath and to the top again, it will hold these loose ends in place. Okay, so this is how far we've got now. We've got all of the double pairs of vertical strands in place, and zoomed out you can see that I've put this steamer tool through, going over and under each of them in turn. So next I'll get two separate lengths of cane, and I'll be weaving them like that on the opposite weave against each other. I'll show you in a sec. So I've threaded some cane through this first hole here on the side rail. I put it into the hole in the steamer tool. I'll tilt the steamer tool a little bit like that and pull it through. Once I've done that, obviously it does twist a bit, so I'll straighten that up, pull that through, thread that down the first hole on this rail, this side, like that, peg it to take the tension, and then this side here, not too tight, put it into position, and then pull that back, nice and parallel with this front rail. So that's the first part of stage 3 just started. So now I've threaded a second piece of cane length through the opposite hole on this rail. Now I'm going to take the steamer tool and I'm going to go in the opposite weave to previously with this tool, like this. And it does sound like a guitar at times because it is starting to tighten up now. But as you can see, little by little, work my way across. It's a bit difficult doing it at this angle so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm sure you've got the idea. Now this chair's going to take a lot longer than most chairs would take because it's such a very, very fine weave. It doesn't help. But you see that upturned tip on that steamer there helps enormously. So now I thread that cane through the hole like that, tilt the steamer a little bit, and there we go. So the trick now is to work my way up the chair, front to back, one by one, putting in these rows, these pairs of rows, or rather these rows in pairs of canes, until we've done every single one of these all the way up the side. Wish me luck. So this is what 2 hours progress looks like on this finer gauge of weave. So believe it or not, this is all I've managed to achieve today. Lots more fun tomorrow, huh?